How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant. This is my favorite episode of the year so far because we're talking about... Oh, man, I can't even contain myself on it. This is easily one of the best sequels of all time, and I know that's probably an exaggeration, but after this movie releases, I think that's going to be a debated topic. Like, does this fall under the lines of Godfather Part 2, The Dark Knight...
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Thank you. I wanted to say that was on my mind, but we are talking about a movie I've been waiting for since 2021, not 2001. That'd be
I was just say
23
wow.
years. That doesn't make any sense because this movie wasn't even talked about back then. But anyway, for the last 3 years, I've been waiting for this movie to come out, and it is Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2. And oh my God, Bern and I had the lucky privilege to go see it this last weekend, just because, moi was able to get the tickets and whatnot early. So, oh man, also it's a non-spoiler review. As much as I want to talk about all the greatness of this movie with all of you, I still want you guys to go see it because this is definitely a movie that has to be seen in theaters. It's the first one of the year so far that I think it should be. So, please do not forget to give us a like if you do enjoy this video. Ring the bell and of course subscribe. We do appreciate you all, and we just want to let's keep the greatness going. So, for those of you who've never seen the first movie, I guess the way I would equate it to, or at least I've tried to, for people who've never seen these movies, and I've never read the books, so I'm just as uncultured as everybody else, but essentially it's like Game of Thrones and Star Wars mixed together. And this is actually the book is actually what inspired a lot of epic stories that we know today, which is including Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and stuff like that, with the whole political aspect, the sci-fi aspect, all kinds of stuff. And the last one essentially was about Timothée Chalamet's character, Paul Atreides, kind of going through a political war essentially of his father's, kingdom, and on this planet called Arrakis, aka Dune. And this movie takes place literally right after that. It's about 2.5 hours long, almost 3 hours, but oh my God, I couldn't get enough of it. And essentially what happens is Paul is now learning the ways of the Fremen, the native people of Arrakis, because he wants to regain control of Arrakis, not only for the Fremen, but to gain vengeance on the Harkonnens, who are the rival house. So I guess I would put it as Harkonnens are like the Lannisters, just way uglier and creepier, and the Atreides were, oh my God, who was the Starks? That's how I would put it if you're a Game of Thrones fan. So yeah, and just again, wow. I try not to hype myself up on certain movies just because I don't want to set my expectations too high, and when I watched, I was like, dang it, there were some things I wish I'd changed. Honestly, this movie lived up to my expectations and exceeded them. I did not expect it to be this good. Such a great piece of storytelling. But before I keep rambling on, Bern, and ignore you, what did you think of this movie?
So when we reviewed Dune Part 1 in 2021, I described it as being the best sensory experience I had in the theater in a long time. And that is true for this one as well. Everything that was great about the first movie is expanded upon and even done bigger in this movie, essentially. The first movie is what all part ones are. A lot of setup, a lot of establishing of characters and storylines and themes. So the first movie had a lot of work to do in getting people familiar with this world. And what this movie is able to do because of that is that it just is able to hit the ground running right away. We know these characters, we know the journey that we're on. Now we get into the meat of the story. And this movie is just 100 miles per hour from the beginning. Like, everything that was so intriguing about the first one, whether it be the politics at play, whether it be the religion, whether it be the world building, these different families vying for power and control on this desert planet that holds all the resources of the universe. It's all really cool stuff. And a lot of this movie is just giving payoff to a lot of the things that were established in the first movie. all the characters and the actors that have come back from the first one get to really get into the meat of their characters in this one, picking up like you said right where we left off in the last one. They just fully embody these characters, and I think they all did such a wonderful job. I mean, Timothy Chalamet establishes himself, and he has in the last few years as a leading man, and Paul Atreides is one of his best roles, if not his best roles to date. This movie is just completely centered around him, and he just holds this gigantic weight on his shoulders the entire time. And the scale of this movie, when you see it, you'll understand it. That's a lot to hold on to, and man, does he run away with it. And a big special shout out to Zendaya, because this is also her movie as well. Where in the first one we only got to see her in brief glimpses, and just very 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 minor, and barely even in the movie in the first one. In this one, she's basically also the second lead, and I thought she did a wonderful job in grounding this whole story. I feel like she is the heart at the center of this movie, and she also did such a wonderful job. So, man, like you said, my expectations were at an all-time high because I loved the first movie, and this movie managed to exceed all of them.
Yes, great point on bringing up Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. To be honest, I haven't really seen Zendaya in a whole lot. I mostly just the Marvel movies, Euphoria, which I watched. I caught up with a couple years ago, and she was great in that. It's almost hard to see her after Euphoria do like what she did in Marvel, and then Dune and stuff, because it's so many different characters. But again, just credit to her and the range she has already. So I want to see her keep doing more stuff. And Timothy Chalamet, again, I haven't really seen him in a whole lot. I think the only movie I've really seen him in was Hostiles with Chris Bale, where he just died off super quick because he was kind of the twerp of that crew. But this movie I think has definitely bona fide him as such a talent in Hollywood. He does such a great job in this. His character goes through way more stuff than in the last one. Like, I didn't think Denis really pulled off the storytelling in this with his character arc. And again, like, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm definitely excited for whatever other Dune movie comes out after this. And a story like this with a political war, actual war, combat, all kinds of stuff. An action movie, political drama is only as good as its villain, and that is anchored down again by Bill. Is it Bill Skarsgård? No, it's Stellan Skarsgård. Stellan Skarsgård's the dad.
Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, I get those Skarsgårds confused sometimes. I apologize.
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them. Kind of like the Hemsworths now, which I'm glad that they're all acting, but that's besides the point. Stellan Skarsgård comes back as Baron Harkonnen. He's just as creepy and gross as the last one. Just such a monster. And not only do we have Dave Bautista back as his nephew, Beast Robin, but Rabba really. But now we have Austin Butler's Fade Ralpha, who in the original film from the 80s, that was played by Sting. His music over the years, I haven't really listened to it, but the fact that he does that, I respect that. Austin Butler, I think he is my favorite aspect of this movie, and I loved the whole movie, but he was my standout because he was so creepy, so vicious, such a badass in every way. I'm like, damn, this guy has really climbed up the ranks of my favorite actors list. I remember the first thing I saw him in was The Dead Don't Die with Adam Driver, Bill Murray. I don't know if you ever did see that one. It was an okay zombie movie, kind of weird. It was almost kind of like breaking the fourth wall, but just didn't work for me. And then he was Elvis, and oh my god, what else was he been in? He's been in a bunch of stuff. Oh, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, my other favorite movie. But yeah, and the last one, I know people were saying it was around 2.5 hours long as well. It was very slow. I can tell you this is not slow at all. This is very well paced with its intimate character moments and then just crazy action pieces that are just, oh my god, they put you into it. Like Byrne talks about a sensory experience. Those are some of the experiences you want to feel, especially in IMAX. I'm already telling you guys, waste your money on IMAX on this movie. It's totally worth it. Just don't get the Dune popcorn bucket, because then I'll question who you are as a person a little bit, or maybe I'll assume what kind of person you are. That's with all due respect. Having said all that, I am happy to give my ranting for this movie, and it's a full 5 out of 5 because, oh my god, this is one of those sequels that will be just talked about for years to come. And actually, I forgot to mention, it's almost like an. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I was gonna say Avatar: Way of Water. I personally liked it better than the first one to a certain extent, but that one's not really considered in that conversation, so we'll extend that. But like I said, definitely go see it. 5 out of 5 for me for this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, all the performers are fantastic in this one. Like, I mean, just go down the list. I mean, Austin Butler was absolutely fantastic, but then you throw in Rebecca Ferguson, who's incredible in this, and also Javier Bardem, who we also get more of in this one, is great too. But for me, really, the stars of the show are definitely director Denis Villeneuve, the cinematographer Greg Fraser, and Hans Zimmer, the man, the myth, the legend, who creates all these amazing scores and did it for this movie. Like I said, such a great sensory experience. Just from the visuals to the music, it's just all works so harmoniously to give you this incredible sci-fi epic that I've never seen anything like this before. And I think for years will probably be referred to as one of the more influential movies that we've gotten lately. I'm sure there will be more blockbusters to come that will take influence from this in some form or fashion, because this movie, well, these two movies are just that good. And man, I mean, this is one of those things where when the credits roll, you just feel like, man, movies are just incredible. Like what we're able to do with storytelling and the visuals and the effects and the costumes, all of it, just creating these worlds and taking us on a journey for 2.5 hours. This is one of those movies that you leave the theater just being absolutely floored by, and I absolutely was. I can almost guarantee to everyone, if you go watch this will be the best theater experience that you have in a theater this year. I guarantee it. I'm looking at the slate for this year. I mean, there's a lot of great movies coming out, but I don't see how this one will not be on the top of a lot of lists at the end of the year. And it's definitely at the top of mine this early on, and I don't see it being knocked down. So for me, this one is going to be an emphatic 5 out of 5. And when I rated the first movie, I rated that 4 out of 5, saying that was an asterisk because it was only half the story. Now seeing the full picture, this whole story of Dune, part 1 and part 2, it's a 5 out of 5, and it's probably one of my favorite pieces of storytelling in movies ever. And I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, same. After this one, I'm definitely telling everyone, you got to go see Dune 1 and 2. Because like even everyone, like I know, like Burns said, whether it be Javier Bardem, Rebecca Ferguson, or even any of the smaller characters, everyone does their best to sell this movie. Especially Chris. Oh my God, I can't talk.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
right.
I'm sorry. I'm tired. Christopher Walken, Florence Pugh, Lea Seydoux. Everyone does a great job in every scene they do, and yeah, I hope you guys definitely need to see it. So for those who do happen to catch it, or if you were lucky enough to see it this last weekend like Bern and I was, let us know what you thought in the comments. But I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts when it comes out, because this is the movie I've been waiting for this year, kind of like John Wick last year, Avatar the year before that, and so on and so forth. And this one does not disappoint, in my opinion. So, yeah, until next time, everyone. Like I said, let us know what you thought, but stay bodacious and just keep on ranting for us, guys.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe for the Zelboys. We'll catch y'all on the next one.